In fact, that was I was talking to Senior Yusek Domingo Panginiban, and I was asking him what is ba yung ano nyo noon sa ano yung program nyo kay yung araw na masagana 99, your target is 6 metric tons per hectare that you were not able to achieve, di ba? Senator, pag tayo naka 6 metric tons per hectare, self-sufficient na tayo sa rice and we can export. Tulfo, there is chismis that the hybrid seedlings we are importing is the reject from other countries. That's why nagtataka ako, bakit may nagrereklamo na ayaw tumubo yung hybrid seedlings?
May confidential fund ho, yung DA?
We have 50 million for
50 million.
for the Department of Agriculture solely for enforcement
Saan
and
po?
smuggling.
Bakit kailangan niyo pa po confidential fund kung smuggling pinag-usapan? Nandiyan naman po Bureau of Customs na meron din
I don't know.
confidential fund.
Conflict of interest po yung customs kasi sila yung sa kanila sila kausap ng mga smuggler tapos sila mag-e-enforce kaya ayaw na namin sa kanila.
Our strategy, we are combining these two, inbred and hybrid. But as of now, most of the areas are still using inbred because we have also to adapt our farmers. We started promoting hybrid in 2000, year 2000, Mr. Senator. And it was difficult for farmers to adapt because of, as the chair said, the cost requirement is sometimes higher because they have to use more fertilizer. And our farmers do not always have that resource to invest in hybrid. So gradually, there are more and more farmers going into hybrid. That's why in this year, our target is 1.5 billion.
Yan yung ibig sabihin. Mag-invest kayo sa hybrid
We are
program.
investing.
Dahan-dahan na kayo umalis sa inbred.
That's correct.
Because konti lang yield ng inbred eh. Am I making sense? So, alisin nyo na itong inbred.
If you're an accountant, ang inbred seed is 38 pesos per kilo. Ang hybrid seedlings is 250 pesos per kilo. 38 over 250, it's ilang percent lower yon, di ba? So, minamaximize din natin yung pera natin. Plus tong hybrid, to produce that amount, you have to invest a lot of inputs na which the poor farmers cannot afford. So, bibigyan mo sila ng hybrid but they cannot afford the
Kaya nga nandiyan po yung gobyerno.
perform well yung hybrid.
Pero kaya
Parang yung hybrid is for yung kaya nila yon.
Yes.
The inbred is para dun sa wala naman silang masyadong amount for inputs, 'di ba? Kaya kami kino-combine namin. Parang there are 42 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid, ng inbred, and 15 provinces na gumagamit ng hybrid. In fact, I would suggest if I would be asked that those with money and large farms and they can afford to buy hybrid, they buy hybrid. Oo, that's okay.
pero kanina
For those who are poor, cannot afford the hybrid seeds and the inputs, then it's okay kasi 6 metric tons is not so bad because ang ating ngayong production is 4 metric tons per hectare, di ba? Pag naging 6 yan, that means it increased by 4 over 6 is 40 divided by 6, 60%, more than 60%. Ang shortage lang natin sa rice is 15%. So if we increase by 60%, we are self-sufficient in rice and we can export. So 6 metric tons per hectare is not so bad. In fact, that was I was talking to Senior Yusek Domingo Panginiban, and I was asking him what is ba yung ano nyo noon sa ano yung program nyo kay yung araw na masagana 99, your target is 6 metric tons per hectare that you were not able to achieve, di ba? So we are trying to achieve that. So,
Thank you. Anyway,
Senator, pag tayo naka 6 metric tons per hectare, self-sufficient na tayo sa rice and we can export.
right now, tayo po ay nag-import pa rin. Number 1 importer tayo. But anyway, maganda po yung sagot nyo kanina na naandahan, kayo po ay pupunta na doon sa hybrid program going towards that direction. Kasi nga naman, mas mataas ang yield. So bakit tayo pupunta doon sa mababa lang yield? Pwede naman pala doon sa mataas na yield. Pwede naman natin budgetan para maging affordable na itong hybrid program sa ating mga farmers subsidized ng gobyerno. Tama?
That's correct, Mr. Senator, Madam Chair. This year, it's 1.6 billion.
Tulfo, there is chismis that the hybrid seedlings we are importing is the reject from other countries. That's why nagtataka ako, bakit may nagrereklamo na ayaw tumubo yung hybrid seedlings. So depende
dapat
din
kasuhan pa yung nag-import ng
depende
reject.
din sa quality of the hybrid seedlings. Kung maganda quality, maganda ang performance, pag pangit ang quality, pangit din
So
ang
kayo ba yung nag-import ng reject ng mga seedlings yung sinasabi ni Senadora?
It's the
Dapat
private
nakasuhan
sector
kung-
that is importing.
Well, then go after those private sector, whoever they are.
Yes. That's why
Tingnan mo kung totoo yung balita.
our program is now promoting local production of even hybrid. Mr.
Mas
Chair.
maganda talaga yung hybrid, right? Okay. Now,
But anyway, Mr. Chair, Mr. Senator, our target this year is 1.6 billion hectares. Next year is 1.9, and then the following year, if you will give us more budget, we will
using
probably-
hybrid
yes,
program.
Mr. Chair.
Good. Anong nangyari sa ating mga farm school? Ilan ang farm school meron tayo? Kasi sa ngayon, it's a dying profession sa itong farming. Wala nang gustong maging farmer. And so meron tayong tinatawag na farm school, right?
Si Director Ricoter will answer you
Yeah.
that,
Good
Senator.
afternoon, Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, sir. Farm School is with TESDA. Learning Site for Agriculture is with ATI. And there are about 1,700 plus accredited by Agricultural Training Institute as Learning Site for Agriculture. And then TESDA accredit them as Farm School in which they provide a scholarship program for the rice farmers, sir.
Okay. Ilan po ang mga nag-benefit dito? Ilan po yung mga graduates since ito po ay inumpisahan itong project na ito? Ilan po yung scholars? At magkano po yung na-subsidize ng TESDA para sa mga scholars ng farm school? At nasaan na po itong mga graduates sa farm school na ito? At nagkaroon na ho ba ng pagbabago sa rice production as a result of them undergoing training pertaining to farming?
Madam Chair, Senator Tulfo, sir. TESDA, under the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund, was given 700 million pesos. Out of the 1 billion pesos, or 10% of the RCEP fund, 10 billion from the rice tariffication law. And ATI, out of that 1 billion, we only are allocated 100 million, together with field rice and
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. Ang tinatanong ko po, ilan po ang mga nag-graduate dito sa every year? And since it started, ilan na po ang nakapag-graduate dito? Magkano na po inaipondo ng TESDA sa mga farm school na ito na ang beneficiary ay mga anak ng farmers, tama? At nasaan na po itong mga graduates na ito? Can you give us a list, a breakdown?
yes,
Kasi may mga balita raw po na wala naman talaga estudyante.
I cannot speak in behalf of TESDA, Your Honor, but I can speak.
Hindi,
for-
dapat nagmo-monitor po kayo kasi program niyo po ito.
Yes, sir.
Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Hindi porket pinasa nyo sa test, tatalikuran nyo na ito. Yung budget nanggaling sa inyo Dapat minomonitor nyo to make sure na well spent yung budget na binibigyan nyo sa test. To make sure na ito yung mga pinapadala yung scholar sa farm school ay talaga nag-aaral at meron silang tututunan at nakakatulong sa ating rice production.
We'll provide you with the list, Your Honor. We'll, together with the Farmer Field School, it is the Farmer Field School that TESDA is offering with the,
Ilan po ang nag-graduate dito taon-taon?
from my list,
Magkano po ang budget allocated dito para sa mga farm school na ito, ma'am?
TESDA has conducted a total of yung number of graduates, 207,059.
27,000.
Yes.
Nasaan po itong 27,000, graduates?
Graduates po, sir.
Okay, nasaan na itong mga graduates na ito? Na nagagamit ba nila yung natutunan nila sa farm school?
It's all over the country, sir.
I know, pero namomonitor nyo ba? Dapat meron kayong monitoring system to make sure na itong mga estudyante na graduate dyan ay talagang may natututunan. Kasi kung hindi, then better change yung mga curriculum doon. Baka siguro kailangan nyo po
Answer
ng mga
that,
experts.
Senator Tulfo. You know, we did a study, the Philippine Institute of Development Study did a study of the comparison of the rice, production of rice in Vietnam and the production of rice in the Philippines. The cost of producing rice in Vietnam is 6 pesos per kilo of palay. The Philippines, it's 12 pesos per kilo of palay. So it's double. So the idea is yung proceeds from the tariff on imported rice ibigay sa farmer para itaas ang yield nila, maging competitive sa
Thank you.
Vietnamese farmer kasi sila pinakamababa And then that's why we created the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund. Ngayon na based on the study, ang problem kaya mahal ang ating palay kaysa sa Vietnam is una, mahal ang labor natin by 350. Kasi ang difference is 6 pesos eh. 350 mahal ang labor natin. When your labor is high, then you have to mechanize. That's why we put 5 billion of the Rice Competitiveness Enhancement Fund to mechanization. And then, yung 250 daw is the low productivity of our farms, of our rice. So, seeds yon. Kaya that's why we decided, may na-discovering certified inbred seed ang field rice, yun ang dinidistribute natin para tumaas ang productivity. But this mechanization and seed productivity cannot be implemented without teaching the farmers. That's why we allocated 1 billion of the 10 billion to training through the farm school. Oo. Kasi pag halimbawa ang mga farmer hindi binayaran ng TESDA yung tuition sa farm school, hindi mag-aaral yun, mahihirap yun, walang ibabayad yun na tuition. Kaya TESDA now is paying the tuition of the farmers studying in the farm school in order for them to mechanize, mag-aral silang patakbuhin yung makina, and at the same time, mag-aral sila to maintain. Kasi pag hindi na-maintain ang makina, useless din yung makina. And that is the complaint of our friends from the local, like the governor of Pineda of Pampanga, nakatunga nga daw yung mga equipment kasi pag nasira, hindi kayang gawin. Kaya dapat tuturuan silang mag-maintain. And at the same time, these inbred seedlings, kayang i-produce ng farmer in the future, tuturuan mo lang. Because the inbred seedlings na binibigay natin sa farmer, ang nagpo-produce ay mga farmer din, yung co-op of farmers. So, ini-empower mo na yung mga farmer that in the future, they can produce their own seeds and they can mechanize. Kasi po ako, nag-imbisita ako ng Association of Farm School in France and they have thousands of farm school in France. Tayo sa Pilipinas, agricultural country, nung ipasa ko po yung farm school, abay ang tanong sa akin, ma'am, ano ba yung farm school? At ako po ay nagtayo ng farm school para sabihin ko sa kanila na pumunta kayo doon sa farm school ko, gayahin nyo kasi may farm school ako. And then this mechanization, nung pumunta din ako sa France, I met a farm owner, may 100 hectares siyang wheat farm. And I asked him, how many employees do you have? Sabi niya, I'm the only one. I'm fully mechanized. Imagine, 100 hectare, kayang iayos nung isang farmer dahil siya fully mechanized. So, parang yun din ang dream ko sa Pilipinas na in the future, ang mga farmer natin are all mechanized. And then we can attract the young people to do farming because they don't have to plant with their hands. They just operate machine to farm in the Philippines. Kaya yun po ang idea ko ng farm school and I hope na we will be successful. It will take time because it's hard to train people. But siguro in the future, 5 years from now, we can see a very good result. Sabi po ng Phil Rice, before we started this program, ang ating yield is 3.7 metric tons per hectare. Now it's 4.4. So medyo, sabi nila by next year daw, baka kaya na nila ang 5. So we're hoping kasi at least there is hope because in 1995, we signed an agreement with WTO that we will liberalize the importation of rice. They gave us from 1995 to 2018 to improve our competitiveness para ma-liberalize na natin ang importation of rice, na ang rice farmer natin ay competitive na. But after 2018, walang nangyari. That's why we liberalized, but we gave all the proceeds of the tariff on rice to the small farmers para sila ay maging competitive. Our dream is to make them competitive in the future. Yun lang po.
Thank you. So, if I may continue, pakimonitor nyo lang yung mga estudyante na nag-aaral dito. Sino-sino ba mga nagtuturo sa farm school na ito?
ATI trained the trainers and they are tapped by the farm school to become the trainers
Kaya nga,
also.
saan galing itong mga trainer?
From within the community, sir. Farmer leaders also.
They're farmer leaders.
Yes, sir.
And
Ay,
these
yes,
farmer
sir.
leaders, they share their experience doon sa mga estudyante niyan. Wala kayong kinukuhang experts from other countries like Vietnam, Thailand, na kung saan mataas yung yield, rice production, na kung saan nag-import tayo. So maybe they're doing something that we're not aware of. So maybe we get experts from these countries na mataas yung rice production nila. So maybe kuha tayo ng mga teachers dyan na ikakalat natin sa mga farm school na ito.
Yes, sir. Yung trainers training po are trained by rice specialists coming from field rice, coming from the Agricultural Training Institute from state colleges and universities and regional field offices.
Okay.
And they...
Kasi kanina sabi niyo po, parang yung mga farmers din sila. So meron din pala mga experts
Yes, sir.
ng Phil Rice,
Bali,
UP Institute of...
my level po, sir.
Okay.
The trainers are trained by the rice specialists, the experts in the field
Okay.
like field rice. And then those who were trained, trainers training, are the ones training the farmers at the Farmers Field School of TESDA.
Okay. Sige, thank you.
Thank you,
Ah,
sir.
Last na lang, may confidential fund ho, yung DA? May confidential fund? Meron?
Confidential. Wala.
We have 50 million
50 million.
for the Department of Agriculture solely for enforcement
Saan
and
po?
smuggling.
Smuggling. So bakit kailangan niyo pa po confidential fund kung smuggling pinag-usapan? Nandiyan naman po Bureau of Customs na meron din
I don't know, it's
confidential fund.
given to us, Mr. Senator.
So surrender nyo na lang po at ibigay nyo lang po sa ibang mga agency na nangailangan talaga tulad ng Coast Guard. Siguro kailangan natin dahil palaging nagkakaproblema tayo sa West Philippines.
Pasagutin mo sila yun.
Hindi, ma'am.
According
Wala lang kailangan.
the enforcement agency against smuggler and cartel and would be coming from the law enforcement agency, not from
Yeah, but
DA.
let me ask.
Kasi yun ang sinabi niya po na 50 million daw binigay sa kanya. Kung binigay sa inyo, hindi pala kailangan, di isoli nyo na lang.
Sabi mo sa
No, but
enforcement
we have
agency.
Asek Layog to
Okay,
answer that,
you explain
question.
Asek Layug.
Yes, sir. Nung lumabas yung NEP, sir, they allocated 50 million confidential fund to be dedicated sana dun sa surveillance operation for anti-agricultural smuggling operation, sir. And
Nandiyan naman po yung PNP, nandiyan
yes,
naman
sir.
po yung Customs.
yes, sir. Well noted po yung
So soli nyo na lang yung confidential fund, yung kailangan yun.
yes, sir.
Idagdag nyo lang sa Coast Guard siguro kung sa mga taga-military natin.
Yes, sir.
Diba? O dili kayo, i-reallocate nyo lang sa hybrid program na para tumaas yung rice production.
We will make the adjustment, realignment. Actually, the one who will enforce after the anti-agricultural economic sabotage will be the law enforcement. So we don't need.
Exactly. So paki-cancel na lang, Wag na kayo magka-confidential fund dyan. Pandagdag pa kayo. Last na naman po. 50 million is 50 million. That's a lot of money. Okay. So wala naman kayong paggagamitan. So solid nyo na lang. I-realign na lang daw, sabi ni Madam Chair.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
Madam Chair, because when he reported to us, he presented something that I think the department needs. So maybe request him to explain and to expound on the achievements that they have done.
Kasi hindi, sir, sa enforcement kasi ang binanggit nyo, kaya kayo nagkaroon ng confidential fund. Kung enforcement, PNP yan,
Yeah.
and customs. O, no customs, okay. Well then, dapat yung confidential fund mabigay doon sa PNP para sila ang bibili ng mga information, ang maggagawa ng surveillance tungkol doon sa mga smuggler. Or, pagdating kasi sa smuggling, customs po talaga, Madam Chair. Meron kasing,
The customs kasi, nagpasa na kami nung anti-smuggling law in 2016, walang nahuli. 7 years walang nahuli, walang nakasuhan. So ngayon, yung filing of cases would be done by the DOJ and the enforcement by the PNP and other law enforcement agents. Yung filing of cases would be done by the DOJ and the enforcement by the PNP and other law enforcement agents.
tama ba, sa Bulacan? Saan po? Yung sa CEFA. Okay. Nabigay yung contract sa Road Links. Road Links Tracking Service. Cold storage po ang pinag-uusapan natin dito. And yet, binigay nyo sa isang kumpanya ng specialty ay tracking. Road Links. Opo, yun sa first border.
Yung first border facility po na ginawa sa Bulacan, it was hinanap po yun ng abono, yung abono party list on agriculture, and they found someone who donated the land for 25 years to build the first border facility. We did not buy, and they will not operate. DA will operate. They just lend the land for use of rock for 25 years, renewable for another 25 years kasi walang land sa port. So doon na po, nagpahiram siya ng lupa, and then we will build our first border facility then that will be operated by DA.
Yeah,
Nagpahiram lang siya ng lupa.
Kaya nga po, Road Links ang naibigay yung kontrata sa Road Links Tracking. Pero siya po, yung Road Links po ay tracking service.
Yeah, but
Siya po yung mamamahala.
pinahiram niya yung lupa niya. sa gobyerno. Parang use-of-frac agreement. Wala pong irerenta ang gobyerno.
Okay.
They will just build the first border facility there. And that will last for 25 years, renewable for another 25.
Okay, yun po ang second point kasi dito, Madam Chair. 50 kilometers ito away from the nearest port. So, bakit hindi na lang sana maghanap ng malapit-lapit sa port? Now,
Bibigay ng libreng lupa near the port. Napakamahal ng lupa near the port. Ito, pinahiram niya ng libre.